Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. I just finished doing a video and I want to talk with you guys about something. Some of the times, guys, there are things that we're going to go through in our life and it's not going to be fun and it's going to be hard. But one thing you have to realize, you're not going to be able to overcome things when you're not, how do I put this? Sometimes people are not locking in with the Lord, and then they're confused when there's trials and tribulations. You're not going to be able to overcome things if you are not cultivating your relationship with the Lord. That means you're not making time for prayer, you're not making time for the word, and you're not obeying Him. It's just not going to work. Sin and God is like water and oil. It's just not going to work. They're always going to be separate. You can have water and oil, you can try to shake it up all you want, but they're going to separate. Water cannot be in oil. They can't coexist. I dare say, even if you put a bit of water on a plate and put oil on it, you're going to see them going into their own little, they can't. They can never become, you will never be able to make a solution where oil is going to dissolve in water and water dissolves into oil and they just become one. It never can. So sometimes the troubles that you may face and being in a state of torment constantly or being in a state of sadness all the time is because there's a leak somewhere. And if you check yourself, check your inventory, you have to ask yourself, am I praying? Am I listening to God? Is there something else that I'm messing with and dealing with right now? Am I being consistent? Am I up and down, back and forth? Because if you're up and down, back and forth, then it's going to make perfect sense as to why certain things are going on. Sometimes people want God to do things, but they don't want to do anything, or they want to do the bare minimum. God is already doing above and beyond. He's keeping us alive. He kept the sun up in the sky. He has protected us from more things than we know. We went to sleep last night, but we don't know the evil that was walking around, who was thinking to do something crazy, who was thinking to break in, who was thinking to blow up their house, who was sitting there with a gas stove thinking about taking their life, which would have inevitably blown up several houses, and you're right next door to a person. You don't know how God protects you. You don't know. You may have a barber or someone that's feeling suicidal that day, and that guy is there cutting, doing the thing that they do with that little blade, cleaning your face. And you don't know that God is keeping that man's mind because he's struggling in his mind and thinking to cut your throat. There could be someone at your job that's thinking of coming in to do a mass shooting. And you sitting next to a mass shooter who God has kept, He subdued that spirit so they won't do it. You see what I'm saying? All I'm saying is God is always at work. Just because we don't see Him doing specifically what we want doesn't mean that He's not moving. Come on. Oh my gosh, this excites me. Whew, let me tell y'all. So, you have to be honest with yourself. What do you have going on in your life right now? And then be honest with what are you doing or not doing, because that's going to be the reason why certain things continue to happen. When I worked for the ENT doctors, we had to go to surgery. And everything had to be separate. That back table is the table that we would have all the surgical instruments on. Sterilized instruments. There's a specific way you have to open everything. There's a way you have to be dressed. You can't just go to that back table in regular stuff. Before you even enter the operating room, there's a place you have to clean. It reminds me, it's so much of the outer court, the inner court, and then the holies of holies. That operating room is like that. Because you walk in, but you gotta go change. That'll be the outer court. You got to go change. You have to get out of your regular clothes and you got to go put on some scrubs. Then after you go to this, you get your scrubs on, you're going to go to this other room. And you are going to go to this big sink and you're going to wash your hands. And not just with any soap. You're not going to bring some soap from home. You're not going to bring, oh, this is my favorite KitchenAid hand soap. Nope. There's specific soaps. There's specific things. There are these sponges that you have to use. Scrub sponges. One side has bristle, other side has the soft sponge. And it has a solution in it. And you have to rip it open. You can't touch the sink when you get to this part. This is when you're scrubbing in before you go to the OR. You use your feet. And the water comes on and you're going to scrub your hands. And there's a way you have to scrub your hands. You can't just wash it. You don't just rub your hands together under the faucet. Nope. There's a certain thing. You got to use the scrub. You're going to use a scrubby side. The solution comes out. You're going to start with your fingertips. And you're going to do certain things. Circular motion in the palm and the back and your wrist. And you go up. Maybe halfway up your to your arm before you reach your elbow. Up to your elbows. And you have to do this for a certain amount of minutes. And then there's a certain way you got to wash your hands. You can't wash your hand. Just put your hand and let everything go down to your hand. You have to put your hand through the water, let it run down your elbow. You got to do your other arm like that. Fingers first through the water, let it run down your elbow. Okay? And that will be what? The inner court. We did the outer court scrub room, middle room, gonna be the inner court. Now you're going into the operating room, the holies of holies. You go in with your hands up. Then they're going to put on your scrubs. They're going to do all that. There's a way they put on they put on the surgical gown. And there's a way they put on your gloves. And then you got to walk with your hands up in the air. And you're going to go to that back table. And no one can touch that table but you because you have been purified. Only you can touch those instruments. And everyone has their place. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you look at your life, are you mixing and matching stuff? Are you putting the things that should be holy, are you mixing it with unholy things? Do you have the in and out, up and down, trying to put that with holy things and trying to bring the holy things out into the outer court? Are you trying to bring the holies of holies and putting it into the inner court and the back court, and you want it in and out? Because it's not going to work. If that's what we did in the operating room, if I just walked into the operating room and did not and cut corners with washing my hands and didn't change out my scrubs and just do what I want to do and just go touch the back table, it's going to affect that patient on the table, and the whole operating room is going to be compromised. Everything has to be shut down. They're going to have to take all the instrumentation back, send it down to CMS. Now we have to wait for another for them to get another set ready to go, and the patient's going to be delayed, and there's going to be chaos. So sometimes when there's chaos in your life, you have to take an inventory. What are you doing and what are you not doing? You can't expect God to do stuff and you not doing stuff, because he's already doing a lot. I already told you. He's already doing a whole lot. You just have this thing you have to do. He's saying, obey me. If you want to know more about me, come to me, seek me, communicate with me. Other times as believers, you're not doing anything wrong. You're following God, but there's just stuff going on. But we have to remember, the Lord did not promise us that it was going to be all gumdrops, lollipops, and cotton candy. You're probably just going through your trial, your tribulation. Just hold on. Hold on. But as I've said in the past, there's some of you keep going through stuff. And it's because you're mixing and you're matching. You're trying to get God to compromise. He will not. Oil and water don't go together. He's the living water. So if you're trying to bring some greasy situations in and trying to mix it with God, it's not going to work. hope this makes sense to somebody. Reevaluate yourself. See where you're at. And ask the Lord for the strength to help you. And He's willing to help you. But you have to be willing to learn and to make the changes. Because there's some things you're going to have to do. Hope this makes sense, guys. God bless.